Hey guys, what's up? Richie from RW Hobbies with part number 8 on my SU-33 build. So, on to some fun stuff now. So we're going to start putting some paint down. So we're going to start initially with putting down the black priming coat. We'll do a shadow coat for pre-shading, and then we'll put the first color of the camo, which will be light gray. At that point, we'll end the video, and then next time on part number 9, we'll talk about the other two camo colors and masking that, which is pretty complex. The blues, the two blue colors. I was originally going to do this in one video, but the video would just be way too long, and it's easy just to do it in bite-sized chunks. So after the intro, we'll start talking a little bit about the camo, but again, we'll do that next time. But we'll focus more on appreciating getting the first color down today. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a great week, and well, a couple of weeks since I last did this video. So now we're going to get into the painting and the fun kind of part for me. Well, I say fun, but nothing's ever easy with this build, and even with the mask set, I've never seen a mask set like this. So we're going to use the Galaxy model mask set designed for this kit. Typically when I use mask sets, it's pretty straightforward instructions, even with multi camo, where you get whole big pieces of vinyl and you put it on, spray and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this has at least 101, 103 pieces, and it looks like rather than masking whole areas, you just got the outline. You have to kind of backfill it yourself with masking tape, which it looks like. I mean, we'll get cross that bridge when we come to it, but there's definitely some language translation issues here. Step 1, paint the whole aircraft light blue. Easy enough. Paste around the dark blue. Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, we're going from light blue down, talking about dark blue. So there's definitely some issues here. Just to give you a slice of heaven, this is, look. This is your, so I'm not sure 100% if we're going to use this. We might just mask it by hand, but we'll figure it out. I think if we are going to use it, then we have to use the call out and do a section at a time and just kind of cross-reference the these markings. For example, this here, and gets against here and kind of figure out what colors we're going with and stuff. I think there's a way to do it. And also, let me go through my box here, but I'm pretty sure I've only got the side view. I don't have up or lower, like look on the color callouts, which isn't helpful at all. But I'm sure I do in the box. I'll look for the box again. But any road. So first thing we're going to do, as always, is we're going to paint the inner color of the cockpit so you can see it through the inside. So we're using we painted the cockpit in this color, which is Shokai Cockpit Blue Grey, which is MRP A002. This is an acrylic version I had. I wasn't going to buy a whole other bottle just for this. So we're using the acrylic version. It didn't spray very well last week. Hopefully it sprays better this time. So we're going to spray the whole thing, well, the whole cockpit area, the clear parts you can see with this, as the first coat, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the priming. Okay, so the grey's on, the cockpit internal color now. I don't know why I'm bothered, but I used this stuff. I think it's gone off. I think it's really bad. It's like not separated. I'd stirred it and got it real good, and it just wasn't cooperating. It was really blotchy. So in the end, I just took out a Tamiya XF paint, which is kind of similar to like lighted blue. It's not perfect, but it's on the inside of the canopy, so who cares? So sprayed that down. It's dried, and now I'm going to spray the whole thing, which is going to take a while because it's a big beast. Actually, first thing I'm going to do is actually going to master the intakes. I forgot about that, so I'm going to throw some a little bit of foam down the intakes to mask it, and then actually I can do it right now while I'm talking to you. So just scrap some foam like this, and just wedge them in there. I did paint some of this, the body color already, so it'd have to be perfect, just to protect the fan blades and stuff back there. And get a bit of foam right here. We should be good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prime everything with black. Again, this is surface of 1500. Actually, I noticed the wings come loose too, so the flaps, sorry. So I guess I've got to glue that back in place. A little bit of surgery as we go here. So I'll fix that, and then everything gets sprayed with this guy. Oh, not focusing for some reason. There it is. This surface of 1500 black, mixed about 50-50 with, I'm using rapid thinners right now. Like you can use self-leveling thinners, but rapid thinner really kind of dries almost instantly, so it's really kind of nice to use. So I'm going to go ahead and spray the whole thing. It's going to take me a while, and also while I'm at it, I'll spray the wings and the flaps and the horizontal stabilizers and all the other little parts we built as well. I'll spray and prime, and I'll come right back. Okay, so painted this guy. So I don't know why he even bothered, but I think this has gone bad. But anyway, so I sprayed it with this, which is totally a mess. Didn't go down well at all. So in the end, I just went through my drawer and picked out a Tamiya XF, which was kind of similar-ish to carpet color, like a light kind of bluey. Actually, it was the same color as plastic, to be honest with you. But I sprayed it, so that's down, dry. Now we're ready to come back and prime the whole thing. And we're going to prime it in black, as always, with Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black. Mixed 50-50 with rapid thinners. You can use self-leveling thinner, but I'm really into rapid stuff right now because it actually goes down really nicely and it dries almost instantly as well. So I'm going to do the whole thing. I did put some foam in here too, just to protect those intakes back there. Spray the whole thing upper and lower. Also, while I'm at it, I'll do the tails and the ends of the wings and all the other parts we did as well. So that's going to take me a while, so I'll go ahead and start priming all that up. I'm using plenty of primer, I'm sure, and I'll come back shortly and kind of show you where we're at. Alright, so the Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black is down, and just a reminder, this is what it is. And obviously did the wings parts, we've got the tails over there, and the main fuselage is done. No problem at all. I mix it 50-50 with rapid thinner. Used to use the old self-leveling thinner, which works perfectly good too, but rapid thinner dries really quickly and creates a nice finish. This is great for more gloss work when you want stuff more level and stuff, but just throwing down primer, yeah, this stuff actually works really good. Not cheap, but it's good stuff. So let's kind of talk about my setup real quick. I've done this before, I've done videos about it, but if you're new to the channel, I'll just run through it. Down below you can't see I have a compressor, I have the Sparmax TC620. That's all I could get in the US. If I was going to do it again and I could find it, I'd buy the 610. That's just a lot cheaper, it's a little bit cheaper, but I think it runs a lot quieter, and unless you're running multiple airbrushes, you don't need a 620. Extractor, obviously key to this, and this is the bench vent. I think it's a 360, and if I scroll my camera around a little bit, you can see there it vents through the window for a VentWorks vent. So it's permanently there. The window's closed, it has some insulation, so you can't no draft or anything like that. Airbrush wise, I've done videos of all my airbrushes. You can check them out on the channel. I'm going to use for this one, I'm going to use my Pro Convoy PS289 with a 0.3 needle. I also have the 274 with also the 3.3 needle, and I gotta say there's really nothing no difference between this. You have no MAC valve on this, which I never use anyway. But if you're looking to save $20, I mean, there's nothing wrong with 274. They spray absolutely exactly the same. So just heads up, you don't necessarily need to plan them unless you wanted the MAC valve, which to me is somewhat useless. So I do have different airbrushes. Do mark them on L for lacquer and A for acrylic. Just really kind of keep them separate. I have one for metallics too, and I do have a PS 770 for fine detail work, like 72nd scale camo lines, that kind of thing. So again, we're going to use this guy. I forgot what it was. What did I say it was? This one's a 289 for today. Air pressure is going to be under 20. Lacquers, I usually do about 8 psi, probably about 10 to 15 for acrylics, and we're going to use Game Air white. So this is really pre-thinned, it's quite thick, and the reason I like this is it covers the black really well. So I guess I should take a step back and say what we're doing right now. So we're actually going to create a shadow coat. So I don't normally do much filming when I'm on the spray booth, because I find it boring. I think if you just sit there and watch me spray, it's not that interesting when I throw color down. But this I'm going to do create a shadow coat on top of the black. So when we come back with the grays and the blues, hopefully it'll create some kind of pre-shading effect for us. Not always, sometimes with a dark color you don't really see it, but this is my preferred way of doing things. It just really works well, and I do it check all my videos out the past couple of years, same kind of process, and it works for me. So again, dead white through the airbrush, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick out the center of all the panels and just break it all up the black and kind of make it more of like a gray muted kind of color. So with that being said, I'm going to fire up the spray booth, and you don't need much paint. That's probably, see how much I have in there, just a little squirt. That's probably almost enough for everything, although this is a big aircraft. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to throw the extractor on and then put some music on and speed this thing up, and see you in a little bit. All right, we're done. So the tails have the white top part on the front there is white. That's why I sprayed it more on there. Also, why I usually do this kind of stage too is wheel wells and kind of inside the speed brakes, that kind of stuff. If it's going to be white, I normally just paint the white now and kind of mist it on and create, the shadow effect and stuff. This is actually going to be gray, I believe, so I didn't put a ton on, so we've got to take care of that too, like a light gray, I think, the wheel wells and a flanker. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. But you get the idea. It's just messy. The messier the better. I mean, there's nothing straight there. I mean, nothing kind of even or whatever. It's just sprayed on top of the black. You can see the effect the white gets. It's actually really good. So really happy how it turned out. Again, it doesn't need to be neat at all. There's two ways you can do this. I guess you can paint the whole thing gray and draw on all the black lines and stuff, which is a little bit predictable. I like to do it this way, where I do the opposite. Black down first for primer, then hit the white, and just break it all up, right? Pretty much. This one actually I add a little bit more white to this one, I think, 'cause it's a little bit too dark. But then there's the other wing too. Again, just broken up, basically hitting the center of the panels and just being messy and really lighting it off. So you can't really tell that was black, right? You can see it. So you can't really tell that was originally a black, because now it's just all kinds of colors and stuff. So I'll do a little bit more at the bottom, I think, and I'm going to do a little bit on there. I do use a separate airbrush for this stuff because this really gums up. Any kind of X20 or any kind of acrylic lacquers or alcohol kind of base paints, this doesn't like it at all. It likes its own pure airbrush. So if you're going to use it in the same airbrush as lacquers, make sure you really clean it out well before and after, because like I say, it does gum up. So that's why really this airbrush now for acrylics, all I use it for is just this gain air, to be honest with you. Things like Tamiya's will react with this too, like the XF range. So I throw that through my lacquer airbrush. But yeah, so there you go. So that's that stage done. All I'm going to do now, when this dries, if I just reach off camera real quick, I have a sanding sponge, an old sanding sponge. This doesn't have to be a 4A models, but ISM's just as good, or the other brands. Really barely any grit on there. And what I like to do now between coats is I like to sand it all and just get it nice and smooth. So between each paint coat, it's kind of like a car, kind of real life car prep kind of thing, and it does really work really well. So, the thing, there will be some some rough parts and stuff on here, just the way hoses down. But what I do is I let it dry for an hour or two, and I come back with this, and then just gently rub it all over and kind of basically polish up the paint work. And like I say, it will make a nice smooth coat for when we come back with the paint. So yeah, let this all dry and clean my airbrush out and stuff, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm right back. What I forgot to mention was too, so you see mine was a little splattery and stop starting, but if you add a little bit of airbrush cleaner, like literally a drop, just squirt a little drop in with your paint, with this paint, it actually flows a lot nicer and sprays beautifully. So just a quick tip, so just a drop of this with this guy in your airbrush, and it will flow a lot better. And also when you clean the airbrush out, do use this stuff too. Don't use IPA or anything, because again, it will turn the gum inside your airbrush. It's pretty sensitive stuff, this pure acrylics. Alright, this time I will go, and we'll be right back. So the color callouts were in the instructions. I think the sheet I showed you earlier is a correction sheet, because if I look at what I'm doing here, the red 30, there's a big grey block on there. So I think that's a correction sheet for this page, is what it is. This guy right here is a correction sheet, I think, for that. So there is upper. Actually, that's what we're doing right here. So we're doing this one. So this is the upper side. So we do have some reference material there, and the lower, same for everybody, just grey basically underneath. So I was looking well. Firstly, I guess here she is. I did sand it down already. Like I said, there were some rough parts. I think you find with airbrushing, whatever's like kind of wing joints and stuff, it creates a vortex and can create some rough texture. So all I do is just literally taking my sponge, just run it over, and it just makes it shine, takes that rough texture away, you're ready for the next coat. Actually works really well. So really happy, you just use your finger, it feels smooth, you're good. If it's a little rougher, like right here in the joint, again, just sand it down and make it better. Go on this side. Just use my finger again, just seeing. Taking top of that paint away to make it a nice smooth finish. And I think we're good. It's cool. So what we could just talk about a few colors. So this should be interior green, is what it's saying on the instructions. So green here. So there's two ways. You can probably paint the whole thing and mask it, paint it afterwards. I might try painting it first and just mask it. I mean, it makes no difference. The same with the wells. This is going to be gold gray, I think. I looked all over the different instructions for Trumpeter and Kinetic and other people too. So it seems like it's pretty much gold gray, and then the inside of the door is going to be red. So I'm going to paint that green, these gold gray, and then mask them, and then we can go with the first color today. So today we're just going to do the first color because this video has gone way too long otherwise, which is going to be the C285 Faded Blue Gray by Attacker, which is FS 25530. This is what they call it. It's a light gray. So it's the whole underside will be this, and then parts of the camo on the upper side, which we'll talk about in a minute. So that's the first color we're going to paint today. Then next week we'll go for the masking. Well, next week, whenever the next video is ready, it might be 2 or 3 weeks. Here the blues we're using, Counter Attacker. It's C284 Blue, which is FS 35250 for lighter blue, and the dark blue is C283 dark gray blue. So Counter Attacker, these actually come in. You can get an SU-33 paint set, but I don't need like the blacks and the whites and stuff. So I just picked the numbers from the paint set and picked what I needed. So again, these are lacquer paints, spray beautifully. You definitely need to thin them with their own lacquer thinner, ideally. So again, 285 for the gray, and then 283 and 284 for the 2 blue colors is what we're going to use. So they're the 3 paints. Cool. So yeah, so let me do the green here and the paint the spray and paint the wheel wells, mask those up, and then we'll get going with the first color, which is a bit of gray. All right, just out of spray booth, so it's still wet, but there's the green. Again, just misting it on, hosing it on. Deep green XF26 is what I decided to go with. Again, it's still drying, obviously, but just like putting on like the light coat, you can still see that like kind of appreciating through it. See, kind of get some tonal variation. On the other side, using my favorite MRP dark gold gray, which is MRP 100. This stuff's, the grays are sprayed beautifully. There might be problems with greens and some of the colors, but the grays, yeah, just fantastic to spray with, especially after spraying the white acrylic paint on this. It's beautifully. So spray to base, as you can see. And again, they'll dry pretty quickly. Let all this dry off. I'm in no big rush, so I'll let it dry for a couple of hours or so. Come back, mask this up, and then we'll get ready with the gray for the main camo. All right, so the gray's down. A little complex trying to figure it all out, but again, came back with the C285 Attacker lacquer paint, faded blue gray. So, as I mentioned, we did the whole. I think it's dry. Let me just hold it here just in case. The underside's definitely dry. We did that yesterday. Well, I did it yesterday, last night. So seared it, hose it on, put a nice thin coat so you can still see that pre-shading coming through, which looks fantastic. Which is pretty cool. And did the other side, and really just following the instructions here. You could just paint the whole thing grey, I guess, but rather than doing that, I did just kind of look for where the grey parts were, which aren't very much on the top, and just kind of sprayed those areas. Although I did have some paint left in the gun, so in the end I pretty much sprayed the whole thing. Did throw on this speed brake. It actually perfect, amazing, actually perfect. Just clicks right in place. So also we painted that green underneath, as you saw earlier. So I just put it on top. So when we come to camo, we just paint it all as one. Makes it easier. I'm doing it separately. So the grey's done on there, and then did all the subcomponents like the wings and that, what have you. Obviously the bottom's all grey. Top again, I just went for the spots where the sorry, there's like a siren in the background. I just went for where on the instructions where the grey's going to be, and we we're going to mask it off. So again, sprayed the whole thing. So did those, did all the stabilizers, the canards on the. I think I hold it here. Yeah, hold it here. On this guy, we obviously marked off the white we painted. With this, I found a good little tip. I just put masking tape over the top of it, and then with my sharp knife, what I did was I just followed the panel line because it's kind of like recessed, and just went around with my sharp knife and then just pulled it away, and it left it perfectly masked on both sides. Hopefully it didn't scratch it up too much. I think we're okay. Again, you can see on that same thing that side, just put masking tape over it, and I just went around with my knife and then just ripped it off, and that actually worked pretty good for that kind of complex kind of shape, I guess, but we'll know for sure once it comes off. So yeah, that's all done. So the grey's done. beautiful paint to work with as always. So what we'll do, I'll end the video now, otherwise this video is going to be way too long and complex. I kind of like keep it kind of bite-sized. So next time we'll come back and we'll finish this off by doing the 2 blues. So we're going to figure out this masking, these 110 or whatever are mask templates we're going to put on and figure it all out, which will be fun and games. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy this one. A lot going on in this episode, a little bit longer than usual. But yeah, again, this is Richie from RW Hobbies. Have a good one. Goodbye.